Hey guys, Andrew here. So I have this idea for a new series that I want to start. Basically, I have an online blog kind of thing. Now it's not actually a blog because a blog is one, I guess, one story after another. So like if you have a video blog or a vlog, say on YouTube, like there's one gal that I watch. She's building a car. It's a C8 Corvette. So for every video she has, something has either been done to or gone wrong with the car. So that's kind of what a blog is, except you write it. Now, for those of you who do writing, you know this, and some people don't. But my point is, I have an online blog. Now, it's just more or less a place for me to put my writings that, inspiration or stories or just something I feel like writing. So, anyway, um, this one here I wrote June 27th this past year, 2020. And this one really does hit. It does hit a note that far too many people are all familiar with, and it has to do with racism. Now, the problem is this is not dealing with actual racism. Um, this is one, the title is That's Racist. And well, I'm just going to read it. You'll understand for yourself, hopefully. That's racist, an all too common phrase that's uttered in today's world. Even more so today with all the riots, protests, and idiotic garbage happening. Now, that is, of course, in reference to the George Floyd, Black Lives Matter, all that. The problem is that people are claiming that they're anti racist, and they press the issue so hard that they become even more racist than they claim not to be. On the other side of the spectrum, everybody is trying so desperately to be inclusive that they're ignoring the facts of history completely. I was watching one of Disney's live action remakes of an animated classic, and in the attempt to be inclusive, they completely missed the historical accuracy. The movie was set in the 1920s, New Orleans, had portrayals of interracial relationship, Chinese immigrants speaking perfect English, and general historical inaccuracies. Now, the movie I'm referencing is the live action version of Lady and the Tramp. Now, in Lady and the Tramp, and this is going off the topic for a second. In the live action movie of Lady and the Tramp, the Disney live action remake, obviously, um, it is originally supposed to be set in the 1920s, 1930s. Now, things like this that I'm referencing here, Chinese immigrants or immigrants of Asian descent, Oriental descent, they would not always speak perfect English because in that particular time frame, most of these immigrants already were either first generation or second generation immigrants. Now, second generation immigrants, if they grew up in America, they would speak pretty good English. But this one here, again, this is way off. So no, going back, the movie was set in 1920s New Orleans. It had portrayals of interracial relationships, Chinese immigrants speaking perfect English, and general historical inaccuracies. Now, I'm not a racist and I'm not against any of those things happening in real life. The problem is that Disney wants to be so inclusive of everyone that they take it to the opposite extreme and become even more racist by trying not to be racist. What's the world coming to? Why are people trying so hard to please everyone else? The problem is that when you do these things to be inclusive, you're actually becoming what you're trying to avoid, a racist. If you would simply acknowledge the fact that history happened and that it wasn't all good, we could all get along better. But because we try to please everyone, we end up inadvertently pissing someone else off. People just face your cultural history and admit that it happened. It wasn't all good and that we should learn from the mistakes in our past. Don't try to include or please everyone. You won't be able to. It is okay for people of different races to marry each other. It is legal for homosexuals to marry, even though I personally do not agree with it. It is okay for people from other countries to move to America and start a new life. But the fact is that they were trying to say this was okay in the 1920s. Well, that is historically inaccurate. Those kinds of things, although they would be okay in today's society for the majority of people, those things would never have been socially or culturally acceptable in that time. Even though it is morally wrong to admit, excuse me, No, I'll go back. Even though it is morally wrong to limit such things that people are allowed to do, in that era it was acceptable to limit or look down on such things. So the question again is, why do people feel the need to include everyone, even though it's not possible? Why do we feel the need to attempt to rewrite history in order to be inclusive? Why can't we just accurately portray history the way it was and simply admit that even though it was wrong to do certain things, that it's simply how it happened? Stop trying to rewrite history. Stop trying to historically include people who wouldn't have been included in the given scenario. Stop gender swapping things that don't make sense and or couldn't make sense to do so. And finally, stop pushing the LGBTQ plus agenda and messing and making a mess of things or messy. I will have to correct that. That should say, stop pushing the LGBTQ plus agenda and making things so complicated. Some things of that nature either don't fit the story or have no place in the story, so knock it off. I honestly don't really care if my opinions aren't agreed with, but at least I have the respect, but at least have the respect to allow me my opinions. You can't stifle me, and I can't stifle you. So stop trying to change things that you can't change in order to make yourself feel better. Now, that actually has a lot of significance in today's world. And like I said, I wrote this back in June, but it's still very true today. The problem is that people are trying so hard to be anti this or anti that. They come across even worse. Like, oh, well, yeah, I'm not racist, you know, but yet some of the things you do because you're trying so hard to not be racist. So, for example, so a company has a position available. They have a posting online for, let's just say, an accountant. Okay. What do most what do most white people think of when they see an accountant? Think of a white guy, maybe graying hair, glasses, maybe a little heavy set. He's good at math, wears a suit, maybe a tie. You know, he's an accountant, a CPA, a certified public accountant, or maybe even a private accountant. And now, what would most black people think of? Probably the same kind of thing, except maybe in their scenario, the person is a black person. You know, a woman might think of a woman, a male might think of a man. So, my point is this. The problem with this is now getting back to the scenario. So, this company has a posting open or a job opportunity available. They're looking for an accountant. What they want is someone with the right qualifications, the right education, and maybe a little bit of work history to go with it. A white man, maybe mid 30s, shows up. You know, he's wearing a suit, maybe doesn't have glasses on, has all the right qualifications. He went to 4 years of college to become a CPA. He's got a minor in business degree. He's got 3 years on the job experience and was recently laid off due to his company uh, making cutbacks. Okay, good. All right. Well, we'll look over your qualifications and we'll be in touch. Great. Look forward to hearing from you. The next applicant may be a black man, maybe mid to late 30s, a little bit older than the first guy. Same thing. He has all the qualifications they're looking for. He went to 4 years of university. He's got a background in, he's been a CPA for 4 years. Um, his minor was maybe say liberal arts, so he's got some theater, but it's just something he enjoys to do. Enjoys doing. He's got a wife. He's got 3 kids. The first guy maybe was single. All right. So he's got a little bit more experience. The next applicant is a woman, maybe of, let's say she's of Asian descent. She's fresh out of college, has zero experience. Okay. Who are they going to look at? Well, they're going to look at the person who had, correction, most of the time, companies will look at the person who has the most experience. In this case, it would be the second applicant, the black gentleman. He's got more experience than the first applicant. He's a little bit older. He went to just as good of a school, and he's he's got more to fight for. They're probably going to look at him for the for the job position. Scenario two. Here's where it gets complicated or gets interesting. Same job posting, same company, three different applicants. Two of them are white male, middle aged, say 30s. They both have a 4-year degree from an Ivy League school. They both have 3 years of experience in the field. They're both single. Okay. Second applicant, the second applicant, no, sorry, the third applicant. The third applicant is a black man, fresh out of college, zero job experience, and really was not very high marks in his class. Okay, the scenario here is because this company is so afraid of being sued or deemed as racist, they will hire the black man just because he's black. Isn't that the same damn thing as being racist? You're trying so hard to prove you're not racist, you end up doing a racist thing. Shouldn't they look at the qualifications? Shouldn't they look at what his experiences are? You got three applicants. Two of them are white, went to an Ivy League school and have 5 years of experience. One is black, went to another Ivy League school, has 0 years of experience. You hire the black guy just to prove you're not racist? I'm sorry, but that is still racist. You look at their qualifications. And that's what I'm talking about here is there are so many people and organizations, they are trying so hard to be anti-racist. They just end up going to the opposite extreme and still be racist. So you're trying to prove that just because you're not racist, you're not looking at that guy for the color of his skin. But yet you are looking at him because of the color of his skin because you don't want to offend him by saying something stereotypically, stereotypically black, just to coin a phrase. Now, where I work, I'm actually currently driving a forklift, and I know of, well, not three anymore, but two. One of them, unfortunately, was let go. I don't know why, what happened, whatever. Anyway, I know of two black guys where I work. I'm sure there are more, but I've only ever seen two of them. One of them I work with closely. He's a real nice guy. Another one seems like a nice guy. He's probably in his 40s. The one guy that I know, more closely, he's in his 60s. Both real nice guys. I don't have any problem with black people or people of any other skin color besides my own. I'm not racist. I, I have friends who are of, Hispanic or Mexican descent. I know people who are of Asian descent. All over the globe, really. And to me, they're people, you know? They're just people. Like my Hispanic buddy, he's my buddy. I don't ever say my Mexican buddy or my Hispanic buddy. Now I did just now for clarification. But whenever I'm talking about him, his name is Victor. Whenever I'm talking about him, oh yes, my buddy Victor. And that's it because he's my buddy Victor. He's a great guy. He's very smart. He owns his own computer business. He's in IT. Um, he's a car guy like me. He's a great guy, but it's never, I don't ever use his ethnic descent as a descriptor for who he is because that's not who he is. Now, that's what kind of cultural descent he is of, but that's not who he is. He's my buddy Victor. Now, another friend of mine, no wait, that's I'm thinking of somebody else. So anyway, getting back to the two guys at work. Yeah, they're both black, African American. So what? One of them works with me on the shipping floor. Another one is a welder. So what? Whenever the guy who's a welder passes by, it's, hey man, how's it going? He's real nice. And the guy that I work more closely with, it's, hey, how you doing? That's it. They're just there to make a living for their family, just like I am for mine. So Did the company hire them because they were black or because of their qualifications? I would say because of their qualifications, because the one guy, he's a real good welder, and the other guy, he's a sorry. Sometimes when I talk too much, I had to, and the one guy, he's a real good welder, and the other guy, he's good at his job as well. Putting parts onto shipping pallets and strapping them down so they can be shipped out. But the whole point of this is that too many people they try to prove, they just try so hard to prove that they're not racist that they end up going to the opposite extreme. And the thing that they do is just as racist as the thing they were trying to avoid. So, why can't we just see people as people? Why are all these people trying to play the race card? And it's just wrong. So I don't know. And the same thing goes for the LGBTQ people. I personally have no problem with somebody who has chosen to be gay or lesbian or whatever. Now, if I meet somebody who is a transsexual, am I going to go out of my way to insult that person? No. I'm going to talk to them like they are a normal human being because technically speaking, they are still a human being. They may have psychological issues and have been surgically mutilating their genitals to be a different gender, which is biologically impossible, by the way. But am I going to go out of my way to insult that person? No. No, I am not. The same thing with the homosexual. I've worked with gay guys in the past and lesbian women in the past. Um, One guy, when I worked at Best Buy here years ago, he was actually a couple of guys actually. The one guy, you look at him and instantly you're like, yeah, he's gay. Because I mean, he had the whole flamboyant attitude, the pride. He was always skipping around and jumping, and everybody was honey or sweetheart. And you just talk to him for 30 seconds, you're like, yep, he's gay. The other guy, heavier set guy, long hair, he looked like he could have been a biker from the 80s. Now he's younger than me, but he looked like he could have been a biker from the 80s. He had that build, the broad shoulders, heavy set guy, long blonde hair, scruffy beard, he looked like a biker. And you talk to him, you never would have known until I met his significant other. Another nice guy. They're both real nice guys. And he said, "Oh yeah, I'm so and so's partner." I'd be like, Wait, what?" And this was exactly how the conversation went. "Oh yeah, hi, we'll call him Jack. Hi, I'm Jack. I'm uh, Jim's partner." Now those are not the real names, obviously, but just so I don't, people don't be needing to, hey, I heard about you on this video. No. So yeah, I'm Jack. I'm Jim's partner. Be like, wait, what? Um, Jim's gay? Yeah, yeah, he is. Okay, I never would have pegged it. Now, my girlfriend knows these guys too, and she actually knew them before I did. I only knew them because I work with them at Best Buy. And again, both real nice guys. And it's like, okay, I did not know you were gay. But then again, does that matter? Just because it's not the choice that I would make doesn't mean it's not the choice that they would make. Now, I personally, I disagree with homosexual marriage. In my faith and my beliefs, you cannot be homosexual and be married. You can have a civil partnership or a civil union, you know, make it legal so you can, for tax purposes and whatever. But again, in my belief, it is not a marriage. A marriage is between a man and a woman. And the same thing. I knew this gal from Best Buy. I met a lot of nice people at Best Buy. I met this girl at Best Buy, and she was nice. I mean, I wouldn't say she was real attractive, tomboyish looks. And then her older sister, who was also very nice, her older sister was straight, but I did not know that the younger sister was lesbian until she came out and said it the one time. "Oh yeah, I'm lesbian." Wait, whoa, what? Okay, didn't know that. But there again, isn't that the point? Should we really care? Because I mean, just because this what they choose to be, That doesn't it doesn't have to be a defining factor of their character. Now, a lot of gay guys choose for it to be. They do the whole jumping around and very flamboyant, like the one guy that I knew. And then other ones choose not to. But again, that's their choice. So why should that be a defining part of their character? If they choose for it to be fine. But if they don't, who cares? The same thing with the color of your skin. The color of your skin and your cultural heritage does not have to be a defining factor of who you are. Like I said, my buddy Victor, yeah, he is he's working to become a naturalized American citizen. He's from Mexico. And you look at him, and yeah, he looks like he's from Mexico. He's got the dark complexion, the dark hair, and yes, he does speak fluent Spanish. He is bilingual. He speaks fluent English and fluent Spanish. And I also know, his aunt and uncle. I know one of his cousins. In fact, his aunt and uncle, they have a Mexican restaurant. Great food. It's authentic Mexican food. It's really delicious. And their English, not the greatest, but they're working on it. But then again, they're an older couple as well. But the point is that their cultural heritage does not have to be a defining factor of who they are. So they came from Mexico. They opened a Mexican restaurant. They are American citizens. They've said so. It's like, yeah, we're American. So they have a business, they have income, they pay taxes, they vote, all the stuff that Americans get to do. Now, my buddy, he's working toward his citizenship, but he hasn't quite gotten there yet. He's got his visa, so yeah, he's legal. But there again, doesn't matter if he's from Mexico or Spain or Italy or Canada or Jamaica. Does that really matter? He wants to be an American citizen. He's already working on, he's got his own business, and yes, he's doing everything legally. But should it matter where he's from? No. He's here, America. Again, just because you've chosen a lifestyle or you have not chosen or you couldn't choose your culture, it doesn't have to be who you are. So we really, as a country and as a people, we need to stop with trying to be so anti this or anti that that we go to the opposite extreme. We need to stop worrying about inclusivity and just live life. Okay? The whole thing about, the little while ago, they're talking about trans people in the military. Well, that doesn't mean that they don't want trans people in the military because they're bad people. No, if somebody is going through that transition to surgically become the opposite gender, which again, biologically is impossible. Your DNA says you are what you are. I am a biological man. My girlfriend is a biological woman. That's it. We can't change that. We can surgically remove things or add things, but that doesn't make them functional and that doesn't make them genetic. Period. Anyway, getting off of that. I've said my piece. Done. The reason that the military has said they do not want trans people in their services is not because of their character. It is because of a medical concern. If somebody is taking these hormones and having surgeries to change what they are, then what if you're out in the middle of frickin' Afghanistan in the middle of the desert and you start having complications from a surgery or a reaction to a medication you're taking for these stupid hormone treatments? Well, you're out in the middle of the fucking desert. You ain't gonna get the help you need. So it is a protection for the military, not a thing against trans people. They just want to protect their soldiers, and granted, I agree with them. So it's nothing against the trans people. It's for the military. It's for protection. And that's it. So people, stop freaking out. Anyway, so getting back to my whole point is people need to stop rewriting history, stop trying to include people who wouldn't have been included, and just, come on, people, let's just live our lives. Let's just be human. So, well, anyway, um, So let me know what you think about my new idea for this series. I'm going to go through probably every once in a while. I'm not going to promise a deadline or a time frame, like every week, until I can start, making money with YouTube, which may not happen. But if I can start making money with YouTube and do the whole monetization thing, then yeah, every week I'll do one or whatever the time frame calls for. But anyway, so let me know what you think. This is I'm not sure what I'm going to call this yet. Maybe blog time, um, vlog, blog. I don't know. I'm still working on a title, but anyway. So well, that's it for tonight. So once again, my name is Andrew, and we'll catch you guys next time.